Literally listen. Stop being so defensive. Stop getting so upset. Stop playing the victim. Like, yeah, you may come off that way at first, but then please take a moment to process and say to yourself, okay, maybe they can see something I can't see. But maybe if I open my eyes, I can see what they see.
Tennessee will be a disaster of Airbnb, okay? It will go down in history as an epic failure where too many people went and built Airbnb short-term.
I've been saying this, I'm gonna always say this, having investment properties, rentals specifically, it's like having a child. It's like having a child. You on the clock 24/7. Every month, somehow, some way, I'm hunting down one of my tenants for rent. That's just one of the most annoying things to do. I have a PM company that does oversight on half of my portfolio, and still I'm getting involved. Okay, for me personally, I don't think rentals are worth it. I don't want to add any rentals for the near future. I think it's a lot of time, energy, resources, effort. I don't want to liquidate anything. And any landlord, entrepreneur, real estate investor out there telling you otherwise, it's hard to find good tenants. Tenants with an S. You'll have one or two great tenants, and then the rest is like turnover on the property, shitty tenant, gotta evict. Like, man, I've been saying this.
Nashville, Tennessee will be a disaster of Airbnb, okay? It will go down in history as an epic failure where too many people went and built Airbnb short-term rentals thinking this is going to last forever. This is a short-term mindset. Real estate has never been a short-term game. Don't try to turn long-term wealth creation into a get-rich-quick scheme. It will always blow up in your face. I've always said that being an Airbnb real estate investor would turn out to be a disaster once the locals in Atlanta and New York and Colorado and California came up and said, hey, you can't do short-term rental. I said 2-3 years ago, this will be outlawed by every city in America that has big hotel presence.
I'll be the bearer of bad news. The only way you're gonna get ahead is to make more money. You're not gonna save your way to financial freedom. And if you're just barely getting by right now or living paycheck to paycheck, you're not even gonna invest your way to financial freedom. Here's $5. That's your cup of coffee every day. 5 days a week, that's $25 a week. Times 50 weeks a year, because you're probably gonna take a couple weeks off, you're looking at $1,000 for the entire year that you could save just by not buying that coffee. You'd be removing probably one of the more enjoyable parts of your day. So, is it worth it? Probably not. Buy the fucking coffee. And here's the math if you were to actually do this all year and save the $1,000. Look at how long it would take you just to double your money, and it's not even life-changing money. Again, buy the coffee. The enjoyment it brings you is well worth it. Trust me, you're not gonna save your way into financial freedom. You gotta find another way. You gotta make more money, whether it's doing something on the side, whether it's changing careers or pivoting, whatever it is you gotta do, heck, you gotta figure it out. You're not going to save your way to financial freedom. And if you're just getting by, there's not enough there for you to invest your way. Before you finance bros come at me by asking, well, what if you kept putting in $1,000 every year because you're just never gonna buy coffee again? I'm so glad you asked. You'd have about $17,000 at the end of those 9 years, which is great, but that's almost a decade away. And 17 grand 10 years from now is gonna feel like $5,000 because of inflation. Maybe even less. Buy the coffee. It's good for the economy, and it's good for your health, your mental health. Well, if you're one of these people that thinks you're going to get rich and create generational wealth by buying real estate, I'm afraid you're mistaken. Most people that became very wealthy did not make their money by buying real estate. They bought real estate after they made their money. Because yes, it is an incredibly powerful investment. But there's a reason you don't see wealthy house flippers and people buying 2 families. As a matter of fact, most people that go down that road are more likely to go bankrupt than they are to create generational wealth. The vast majority of wealthy people created their fortunes through some sort of business venture, and then used those fortunes to keep their money by buying and securing real estate. Grant Cardone didn't make his money by buying real estate. He made his money by teaching sales and selling courses, and then used that money to buy real estate as an investment to grow the money that he already created. So it should come as no surprise that any of your friends that have real estate entrepreneur in their bio, that are flipping houses or buying two families in the shitty part of town, most of them are cash strapped and always broke. Money is made through entrepreneurship or having a really high paying job. But money is kept through investments, and that could be real estate, stocks, or any other type of asset. There, I said it. If you
deserve the life you're after, you deserve the body you're after, you deserve the feelings that you're after, you deserve to experience them. But now we have to work towards it. It's not just going to fall on you. You have to work towards peace, and then you have to continue to work to maintain peace. And so now is the work. Now is the process of you growing and evolving and becoming that ideal version of yourself, because it's right down the road. But experience these things now. Don't push it all the way off down the line. Start experiencing it now, and then watch how your life changes. Your dreams are a lot closer than you think they are. You just got to go after it. They're waiting on you, ladies and gentlemen. They're waiting on you. It's too crowded down at the bottom. It's time to get to the top of this thing, all right? I love you guys. I want you to win. You deserve to win. Your families deserve to win. Nobody ever tells you that. I will constantly tell you that because it's true. You deserve all the good things in life that life has to offer, but you got to go get it. It's not just going to come to you, and nobody's going to save you. Your dream.
All right. Good evening, everybody. Good evening. Happy Friday. Thank you all for joining us tonight for our new year, new business webinar. Me and my wife are super excited to be able to bring you some new information, maybe some old information, some things you might already know around business, around life. But we're super excited to share this because we have big plans in 2025. We know some of you guys do too. So I'm going to introduce my wife. She can jump on here and welcome you all on as we get ready for tonight to be able to dive in. Might be a time to take some notes. Might be a place that you just want to set aside something in your notebook to jot down the thing that you grab out of the air that you're going to be able to benefit from in your business. But tonight's going to be chock full of a ton of stuff. So babe, kick it off.
Thank you. Thank you, babe. Welcome, everyone. I'm so glad to see all of these beautiful names, diverse names. I love diversity. Thank you all for giving us your time tonight. You could be anywhere, but you are here with us. So we really, really, really appreciate your time. As you will learn in this webinar, we are big on time. So it does not go unappreciated that you guys are giving us this time with you tonight. So we really, really appreciate that. And we're going to give it to you tonight. We're going to give you all the value that we've had inside, that we've experienced along these years, in our journey into entrepreneurship. We're going to try to give you everything we possibly can tonight in this area to help you grow as a person, help you reach those dreams, and help you get to them faster. Because again, time is of the essence. And that's the one thing we don't get back in life, time. We can get money back, get all kinds of other things back. We can't get our time back. So we're going to try to help you guys get to those goals and dreams a lot faster by giving you the tools that we've learned all these years in our journey. So I think, babe, are you going to pull up the PowerPoint? Awesome. We'll wait for him to do that. You're going to share your screen? Awesome. Yes. And like Chris said, if you guys want to take some notes, that would be great. We have a boatload of information for you. If you want to get interactive and jump in the chat, maybe post some questions, make some comments, give us a heart, give us a woohoo, give us a, I don't really like this, whatever it is. We love the feedback. Get interactive if you like. But the chat is open.
That's right. That's right.
Sorry, babe, go ahead.
We'll dive in because, again, we want you to be interactive. We want this to be something where you can learn from it, but also drop your questions in there. Some things you can expect from tonight, just so all of you know, right? You can expect to learn what changes you need to make if you are currently running a business. We threw this out to entrepreneurs. So many of you on this call, or if you're listening in on Facebook, many of you may already currently be an entrepreneur. You may already have a business that's rolling. You might already have things in mind that you're getting started. This is going to help you understand what changes or what things to focus on in your business in 2025. We're going to figure out what factors to look for if you're just starting a business or you're trying to get into a new industry. We're going to talk a ton about what we do here in the financial services space. So we're going to touch on those things. And then by the end of this, we want you to just have a precise plan for how to reach your financial goals. You know, Zara and I, we care about helping people get ahead financially. And we know that you, if you're a business owner now or a future business owner, we know that you want to reach some financial goals. And we're going to give you a plan of how to do that by the end of tonight. So again, stick around, stay energized, stay engaged, and take some notes.
Awesome.
To you, babe, your story.
Next slide, baby. Okay.
There.
Sorry, we got our technical stuff working out. So what I really want to do first, you guys, so that you can receive this information and know that it came from a good place, a place of lots and lots of hard work, sweat, blood, tears, and years of time, accumulation of experience. Chris and I, we met in 2008, but before him and I met, I'll tell you my journey straight out of high school. I went straight into college. I did everything, you know, they told us to do. Go to school, get a job. That should see you through. You should be successful. Work up the ladder in corporate America. So I did exactly that. Got my bachelor's in business management. I minored in marketing. And then I also got my master's thinking, you know what, with a master's, I'll get paid even more and, you know, bigger companies will want me. My first job, real job, after working in like hotels and things like that during school, my first real serious job during college was working at a hospital. I did like the insurance and registration, quickly climbed up that ladder, became supervisor of that department. And then from there, I really wanted to climb like the executive chain of the healthcare administration system. So I started to try to do that. My first master's was in healthcare administration. And then I was recruited by a pharmaceutical company that was in Florida that was just looking for, you know, younger blood, people straight out of college, people who are great at sales. So they recruited me from the hospital. I started working for them for a couple of years, made tons of money. It was so fun. I was in my early young 20s. I couldn't believe like the life I was building. It was like unbelievable. And it was fun. I drive everywhere, go see doctors, you know, take them out to lunch, drop off lunch, buy gifts, all on the company card. Next thing you know, 2008 came. Oh, by the way, I was also helping my mom, paying her bills, like living the dream of like, I went to college and now I have a great job and I'm helping my mom pay her bills. It was amazing. And then 2008 came and I went into work as it was a normal day. It's like 60 plus people got called up to human resources. And one by one, they passed us an envelope and said, basically, you have no more job here. We're not able to sustain you as an employee. Here's a small little severance check of like $2,000. Oh, by the way, your benefits, healthcare, and all that stuff is going to be over in the next 30 days. So you won't have healthcare or anything like that anymore. Basically, you're out of a job as of today. Then they walked us over to our desks and had security escort us out of the building. It was the most humiliating experience ever. I thought like we broke the law or something. I just was so confused. I didn't even understand what being laid off meant. I was just like, what? And as I'm walking out in my early 20s and I'm thinking I just got punched in the gut and all my breath is gone. And I'm looking to the people next to me and they're in their 50s. You know, they were hoping to retire in the next few years. They've built a whole life at that company, working 30, 40 years for that company. And they got let go in the same exact way. So I really sat with that and it did not sit well for me. I really was like, I don't want to be that person at that age. Oh my gosh. Like I thought I had bills and I was worried about how am I going to pay my rent? What's going on? How am I going to get another job? I couldn't imagine going through all of that at 55 years old. So I called up my brother at the time, my older brother, he was my mentor at the time. And I'm like, how? Like, this is what they did. I can't believe that. Like, what did I do wrong? You know? And he's like, you didn't do anything wrong, Zara. It's the corporate America. It's the system. You know, it's just how it is. He's like, right now we're going through an economic crisis and lots of people are being laid off. And I just couldn't wrap my head around it. I'm like, I just paid all this money for college. I just did all these years in college. Like, how did they do me like that? Didn't even give me any forewarning. So I told him, I don't think I ever want to experience this again. Like, what should I do? And he's like, well, let's jump into business together. Like, let's forget corporate America and let's go make it happen. Let's open a family business. So that's what we did. I moved from Florida to California. My brother and I had a little tobacco shop that we started selling cigarettes, little tobacco shop in El Monte, California. Did that for a few years while we were building the next business, which was going to be a pill, the sexual endurance pill for men that my brother formulated. My brother went to college to be a doctor, but then was also laid off when he was doing a paid internship with a cancer research company. And that's what then had him start his entrepreneur journey. So he formulated a sexual enhancement pill for men. And I started to help him brand it, market it, and distribute it. We started going to trade shows. Our first 3 years were awful, living on ramen soup in the back of this tobacco shop. And then after trade show after trade show after trade show, one big distributor found out about it, helped us completely blow up. 7 years into that business, we're working 90 hours a week. We basically gave ourselves a nonstop job, right? When you become self-employed and you own a business like that, you give yourself a nonstop job. So we work 90 hours a week, 15, 16-hour days, go to one trade show, come back home. 2 days later, you're packing up for another trade show. It's constant, never stops. We made tons of money. Money was not the issue. We became publicly traded. So the company had major success. That's the pill over there all the way on the left. We got Britney Spears, Paris Hilton to sponsor it. We were in Star and People magazine. We were like everywhere. Major success, yet we had no time to enjoy the success. We had absolutely no life. My marriage was crumbling because Chris and I never saw each other. Libby Grow was then counterfeited by China. So when you get big like this, now you're really worried about your competition. So China counterfeited Libby Grow and started selling it from China, from all kinds of these mom and pop little factories that are making this stuff in their bathtubs, and then slapping our label on it and bringing it into America using Alibaba.com and AliExpress.com. Completely wiped out our business, like basically almost bankrupted us while we're paying lawyers and spitting in the wind, trying to get them to stop counterfeiting us. None of it was working. I mean, you're fighting China. Doesn't matter how much millions you make as a company, you're fighting China. Coach can't even get China to stop knocking them off. So to a company like us, it pretty much dragged us down. So my brother and I had to figure out, okay, we got to emotionally let go of Libby Grow, which was very hard for him because he created it and formulated it and said, what is the next big trending product that we can jump into? What's the next big trending industry that we could jump into and utilize all the tools and resources we have, like branding, trade shows, and all of our distribution channels, and just give them a new product, basically brand and market and give them a new product. So at that time, vapes were just hitting the market. The vape was just becoming a thing in 2009, 10. We're just becoming a thing. So we said, you know what, let's utilize what we've learned so far, brand ourselves a vape. And that's what we did. That's what you see over there on the right. That was Square e-cigarette. I made my own brand called Naked Vapor. That's me at one of the trade shows. That's what our warehouses look like. We then diversified and started to think, where else can we start to put our money? Where else, what other businesses can we buy up? We bought a Sunoco gas station in York, Pennsylvania. So we started doing many things. In the end, 7 years later, after being counterfeited and just working those 90 hours and constantly chasing the market and constantly dealing with competition, and then our vapes were also being counterfeited, and it's always something. I decided, you know what? I don't think I want this. Chris at the time was working in Cheesecake Factory. He climbed up that corporate ladder. His studies were in culinary art, restaurant management. So he was busy climbing up that corporate ladder in restaurant industry. He was a assistant general manager at Cheesecake Factory, going on like 5 years there with them. And he also at the time was like, hey, I don't really care for you to work 90 hours a week anymore. This is killing our marriage, it's killing our personal life. You're getting sick. Like I want to have our own business together, like me and you, give this to your brother and then me and you, let's start a business. And I told him, absolutely. I like that idea. At least I have to get away with this 90-hour week schedule. I can't do it anymore, no matter how much money it was. And at that time, I was also thinking, if we can't find another business, let me just go get another master's and then maybe go back to corporate America. So I got another master's in adult education and training, thinking, a college, a university will pay me well, for all this experience and education I acquired. Started applying there in the meantime. And the offers that I got back were just comedy. It was just like, oh, we could maybe pay you $92,000 a year. It was just comedy for everything all the time, and the money I put into my education and then what I was making with this distribution company. There was no way then to basically go back to corporate America. So Chris and I were, looking again to see what is the next business to not make us go backwards, to make us then go forward and give us our time back. Because again, I wasn't looking for money anymore. He wasn't looking for money. We were looking now for time back. We tasted self-employment, had a very successful business, but that business took all of our time. So coincidentally, we put it in prayer, and lo and behold, someone came and talked to us about the financial industry. They talked to Chris first, and that was our beginning into where we are now, which is financial consulting. We do insurance and retirement planning. We do all types of financial coaching. That's our family now. And the business that we're in, and we'll talk about that business later on in the webinar, that's Ed Milet. If you guys don't know Ed Milet, he's a world-renowned speaker, business owner. He's billionaire. He's amazing. He has podcasts everywhere. Just look up Ed Milet on YouTube. Got mentorship from him, constantly hear from him. Our daughter, it's the best thing about it. Like now we can have a family. We have time to have made a family. Now we have all the time in the world. We homeschool. She's on all of our appointments. We take her to all of our business events. That's her with the 4 money bears. We teach her, of course, what we know, what our business is. By the way, the distribution company, as proud as I am of it, it was very hard to walk around telling people when they ask, what do you do? I'm a distributor of what? Sex pills, vapes. It wasn't like something I could be proud of and like fulfilled by. It was like, oh, this stuff is kind of weird and this one's not bad, not good for you. So the fact that my husband and I were able to get into, an industry where we feel fulfilled and we feel for ourselves, not ashamed of what we do, and we feel fulfilled being able to give this type of value to people.
It's huge.
I also get to mentor young girls. So I really take pride in that. I do a lot of volunteering at my boarding school, Milton Hershey. I get to mentor them, especially when it comes down to financial literacy. I get to public speak in front of all kinds of different professionals, from doctors to lawyers. It's amazing. And my husband and I get to be in business now. So it's amazing. That's our story. I hope I didn't blab too much. I wanted to really give you guys the experience. I wanted you to see that we're not coming from a place of we don't know what the hell we're talking about. We're coming from a place of we've had multiple businesses, successful businesses, some failing businesses. We know now, over the 15 years of experience we've accumulated together in the entrepreneurial sector, we know now how to get to this place faster, smarter, better. And that's the information that we're going to pass to you guys tonight.
That's right. That's right. Again, it doesn't matter where you start, ladies and gentlemen. It doesn't matter where you start. All that matters is about where you're going. And so if you continue, no one ever really thinks that they might land in the career that they're in or in the business that they're in. But inevitably, right, something happens, God puts it in your path, and that's the direction you start heading. And it's about what you make of it from that point on. So again, these are some places to find us, right? If you ever cared about finding us on social media, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, any other places, you can feel free to find us over there because we make ourselves available. Some of you have seen us on Facebook on our Money Mondays with the Muzans, but we do this often to make sure that we can spark these financial conversations that we all need to be having anyway. So feel free to find us anywhere over there on social. But hey, let's get your notepads ready. I want you, again, we care about giving value. We care about making sure that if you're here and you're spending this time with us on this Friday evening, that you're going to walk away with some information. You're going to walk away with something that's going to be able to benefit you in the future. So take notes, share this with somebody that you know is an entrepreneur or wants to grow their business, because this is going to be some valuable things that, again, like Zara said, we've learned over our time just being here. We've been in the financial space for 12 years. Zara's been an entrepreneur for 15. We've been blessed. We haven't had a job in 10, 11 years. And so there's some things that we maybe have learned that we're able to do that we want to be able to impart on you for the business that you're going to create. So a couple things to understand. This is a very unpopular opinion, but your business structure is not as important as your business execution. Your business structure is not as important as your business execution. What do I mean by that? There's so many people, and some of you may be on this call, where you think that you're a business owner because you set up an LLC, or because you got an EIN, or because you wrote a business plan down, or because you got your trademarks and your logos and your business cards and your social media pages, and you feel like you got your business bank account set up and your business lines of credit, you got a website, you got the right idea, you know the market. You think that makes you a business owner. Unpopular opinion, it does not. Just because you have the paperwork together, just because you have some ideas in place, doesn't make you a full business owner, right? Being able to execute in these next 4 areas of business that I share with you are the thing that will determine your success. Being able to execute in these 4 areas. I call these the pillars and the drivers of your business. 4 areas: sales, marketing, financials, and operations. For those of you that are listening that already currently have a business, you have something that you do that generates you income outside of your job, right? Something that you already do. These 4 pillars are what you should be focused on in your current business in order to move the needle, in order to really drive your business. Sales, first pillar, driving revenue by understanding what you're offering. Sales is being able to share, to give a product, to share your service and get value back, whether that's in exchange of dollars, whether that's in exchange of something else. But sales is the driver of your business. Sales, revenue. The next part is marketing. It's attracting, engaging customers. How do you get more people to hear about what you're doing? Here's a question to all you business owners on here, right? How good are you at these things? How good are you at these things? How good are you at marketing? Just because you know you do it or you could do it doesn't mean that you're necessarily good at it. These are the things that we have to get good at if we want our business to succeed. So how good are you at attracting attention and marketing? Financials. Do you understand your numbers? You sell a product. Maybe you're on here and you sell a product. Do you know what it costs to make your product? You know what it costs to sell your product? You know what the profit margins are? Do you know how much labor is involved? Do you know what the taxes are? Do you understand the financials of your business? When do you break even? When do you turn a profit? How does the money come in? These are the metrics of your business. And then lastly, the operation side, the system. Who sends out the email? Who follows up with your customer? Who puts the label on the thing? Who takes it to the post office? Right? Who's answering your phones? Do you have systems created? Do you have systems created around all of these? That's a question. Do you have systems created around all of these? Do you have a sales system in place for your business? Do you have a marketing system? Do you have a financial system, somebody that goes over your finances? Do you have an operation system? If not, these are the things to be focused on in your business. Makes it very simple. Makes it very simple. Remember, it's not the paperwork stuff. It's not the fact that you have a logo or you have a nice design or you have a nice idea. How good are you at driving revenue in your business? I know we know how to set up the LLC, but do we know how to make money on it? The marketing, the financials, the operations. These are the things, ladies and gentlemen, to pay attention to if you want to drive your business forward. If you want to drive your business forward, these are things to pay attention to. Here are the main two drivers out of what I just told you. The main two are sales and marketing. Those are the main two drivers of your business. If your business is not growing, again, talking to all the people that currently have a business, like you currently are trying to sell something, you currently have a startup, you're currently in some, I don't know, network marketing business or something, you have something that you're doing. If your business is not growing, these are the two skill sets you have to improve on. Your ability to sell and your ability to market. Your ability to get more influence with people and your ability to get more people to hear about what you're doing. I don't care what industry you're in. I don't care what product you sell, any of those things. None of that matters. All that matters is how good are you at sales and marketing. So mastering the art of sales. I know it's a dirty word sometimes in entrepreneurship. Sometimes we don't always, I'm not a salesperson. I don't want to talk about sales. Sales drives everything in business. If you call yourself a business owner or want to have a business in 2025, you have to learn how to influence another human being. Sales is influence. Anybody parents? Drop a 1 in the chat if you're a parent. Drop a 1 in the chat if you're a parent. If you're a parent, you have a child, drop a 1 in the chat. So I know I got some parents in the place. If you're on Facebook, drop a 1 in the chat if you're a parent. Got some parents in here. Got some parents. All right. So if we got some parents, we got some people that have children, then you understand that you have to sell your children. You have to influence your children all the time that they should do the right things. That you should, right? You have to influence them to brush their teeth and to take a shower. You have to influence them to eat the right foods and not eat candy all day. You have to influence them to study their coursework, their schoolwork, right? You have to sell them on that fact. You have to influence them. If you are a parent, you are an influencer. You influence your child to do the things that you know is best for them. They may not see it's best for them, but you know it's best for them, right? Well, same thing in life when we're going off to build a business. Your job is to influence someone that what you have for them is the right thing for them. Using your words, using your communication ability, right? Using the skills that you have, you learn how to influence someone. That's all sales is, ladies and gentlemen. You're not a used car salesman. You're not selling some lemon, some clunky thing. You're influencing people to do what's right for them. Sales are the lifeblood of your business. Whatever business you have, sales is the lifeblood of it. Without revenue, there's no growth. So if you haven't gotten good at learning how to influence another human being, that's a practice. That's a skill set you got to learn. It'll drive the needle of your business. It'll move the needle of your business more than anything else. We used to have a saying, it says sales cures everything. Sales cures everything. A little stressed about something in your financial life? Go sell something in your business. Sales cures everything. So you got to get good at the sales side of things. What's the next part? It's the marketing side. These are the two drivers, sales and marketing. So the importance of personal branding, social media, digital outreach in a 2025 setting is astronomical. You won't build anything without it. It's the way we communicate. Love it or hate it, good, bad, and different. People's faces are in their phone. They're on social platforms. More than 2 billion people a day use social platforms, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, YouTube, more than 2 billion people a day. How many people do you need for your business to be successful? What do you need? 50 people? 100? 75? 1,000? How many people do you need? I promise you, they are sitting with their face on one of 6 or 7 platforms for the majority of the day. If you as a business owner are not there, you don't want to grow a business. You just don't want to do it. I get it. I hear people say it all the time. We coach people down this path. Well, I don't know social media. I didn't grow up with social media. That's not how I operate. You didn't know how to drive when you were born either. You figured it out. You figured it out. Same thing with social. If you want to build a business in 2025 and beyond, we got to figure it out, because your ability to garner attention will allow you to drive your sales in your business. Money follows attention. Write that down, ladies and gentlemen, if you didn't know that as a business owner, because again, we're talking to entrepreneurs here. We're talking to business owners, people that want to grow business. Money follows attention. Money follows attention. The reason why your business doesn't have the money is because it doesn't have the attention. So if you learn how to get attention, your business will make money. Really simple concept, but we don't often do it because, again, no one really teaches us this side. If we didn't know to go to school, get good grades, get a good job, get some higher education, get a better job, and then when all of a sudden that doesn't work out, we don't have the tools to actually go off and get the other things that we want. But I'm giving you the tools tonight, the two drivers, the two things that you can practice, that you can build as a skill set that will absolutely change your financial trajectory for your business is sales and marketing. That's it. Sales and marketing. You might not like it, but that is the truth. That is the truth. Christine just said that's true. She knows it. She hears it, right? It's the same thing. So that's what we got to practice. Ladies and gentlemen, we got to practice. If you want to get better in your business in 2025, we got to focus on both sales and the marketing side of things. Before we dive into the earning income part, where I'm going to let Zara jump back in, if you're here inside of the Zoom with us, there's going to be a quick poll that pops up. I want you to answer that poll question. We always want to know who's here on the call with us, who's here in the Zoom, which one of these best describes you. Are you a full business owner, or do you have a full-time job? Do you have a side hustle, small business? Are you a full-time entrepreneur? Drop it in there so we know who we're talking to. Again, we put this on for entrepreneurs, for people that have the entrepreneurial spirit, that have started things, but we know there may be some people on here that maybe you just haven't gotten started in your journey yet. Maybe you need a little encouragement. Maybe you need a little push. We want to make sure that we talk to you guys as well. So give you another 30 seconds. Half of you guys already put your answers down. Thank you for participating. Participation is key. This isn't school. We don't give participation trophies, but if we could, you would all get one. You would all get one. Anyway, give you another 10 seconds to finish that up. Awesome. Good stuff. We're going to dive in here since we ended that poll. Thank you for everybody that put in. Again, we want to make sure that we're communicating directly to you so we understand who's in the audience. But let's talk a little bit, babe, about earning income. Let's talk a little bit about earning income. Unmute yourself, babe. If you got to unmute yourself.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Let's talk about earning income. There's 4 ways of earning income. If you guys have not read the book by Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, it's a very, very, very good read, especially if you're an entrepreneur or thinking about entrepreneurship. But there are 4 ways of earning income. 1, employee. As an employee, jobs like teachers, doctors, office workers fall under this quadrant, where basically your time is exchanged for a salary or an hourly pay. You're basically saying, hey, I'm going to work 40 hours a week at these times, and you're going to pay me this much for those hours. It's just a fixed transaction, and that's as an employee. Then you could be self-employed. The self-employed quadrant, this is freelancers, small business owners who rely heavily on their time and skills. So this is like a doctor's office who now owns his own practice, but he has to be stuck there. A chiropractor office, a laundromat, a restaurant, where my brother and I were, a distribution company. Because if we walked away and we took the day off, the whole thing starts to crumble. You basically have to be there running your company. You basically bought yourself a long job, self-employed. And that's the left side of this image. If you see that on the left, ES. Then on the right side of it, then you got business owner. Business owner quadrant are like owners of a scalable business, like franchises, e-commerce stores, automated businesses that help you move faster and duplicate yourself. And you're basically running off of a system. And then there's the investor quadrant, investors who are putting their money in stocks, real estate, where their money is generating them more money. So lots of times when we're looking at this, oh, thanks, baby. Another one. No, keep going. Like, keep going forward. Yeah, hit it again. Yeah, there we go. And one more time. Thank you. Lots of times people think, the hardest part is getting from E to S, which is a very, very difficult part for people, because here's where there's a huge mindset shift. You're changing your mindset from employee mindset to, and now an entrepreneur mindset, where it's not about you working 40 hours, and complaining about it. You're working 80 hours for your own business. And just willing to change that work ethic. There's a lot of mindset and work ethic that's going to change you from employee to self-employed. And a lot of people think that's the hardest part. But really, what people don't realize, moving into the right side of that quadrant from S to B is one of the harder parts, because of many, many times people don't realize that there's a difference between S and B. People think, oh, I'm a business owner. I got a business. I got a gas station. I'm a business owner. I've made it. No, you are self-employed. You can't walk away from that business. You can't easily duplicate that business. You haven't yet scaled that business. You are pretty much stuck on the job in that business. So people don't even realize that they still need to move to the right side of the quadrant and then become a business owner, owning a system that'll help them scale and get bigger. And what that does, when you start to move from the left side of this into the right side of this, you're now starting to get your time back. And that's what I talked about earlier. In our distribution company and the gas station, and we were getting into real estate and so many different things, none of that gave us our time back. We were just slaving away to these businesses. It's kind of like being a hamster on the wheel. Now you've accumulated all the success. Now you've got to maintain the success, and you can't walk away from your business, because if you do, nobody can do it like you, and that thing's going to crumble. As a business owner, you now run a system, like buying into a franchise. If you're wanting to, buy a Starbucks, every single macchiato is made the same, unless people change it for their own preference. But every single standard Starbucks macchiato is exactly the same, whether you're getting it in Florida or you're getting it in California. Why? Because Starbucks runs a system. And no matter where you are and you buy into that franchise, you just run that system and you generate that income. So that's getting into the right side of the quadrant, and that will help you get your time back, because you're able to duplicate yourself. And then as you continue to grow, as you have more time and more money, now you're learning how to make your money make money. And that's getting into the investor side of things. But now we're going to show you guys
really
quick videos. Is this a video, babe?
Yeah, really quick, from the investor side of things, everyone should know, right? Robert Kiyosaki is big on the real estate side, big on, right, educating people about investing in real estate. But when you understand the investor quadrant is anything that where your money can go and make you money. A lot of us know the real estate side, but a lot of times we may not know the other options that are out there, specifically things like business. And that's why we talk about this stuff here. Here's a quick video for you.
Business or no?
I think real estate is a great way to lower your taxes and preserve wealth. I think it's an awful way for you to actually make money. It really pisses people off on the internet, but it seems to be true. I mean, play this game with me for a second. All right, you got two options. Option one, you can go buy a single family home for $400,000, the average price for a single family home in the US. You take $400,000 worth of risk, and then you rent it out to somebody. Well, the average rent net, profit-wise, about $167 a month. So you're taking a $400,000 risk for like a couple $100 a month in profit. Then you take the average small business. Maybe you could buy, same way you could for buying a small piece of real estate, a $400,000 business. You put some money down and get the rest from the SBA or seller financing, and the average small business makes, let's be conservative, and say 10 to 15% per year. You're still cash flowing tens of thousands of dollars.
Do you think these people that, if you're one of these people that thinks you're going to get rich and create generational wealth by buying real estate, I'm afraid you're mistaken. Most people that became very wealthy did not make their money by buying real estate. They bought real estate after they made their money. Because yes, it is an incredibly powerful investment. But there's a reason you don't see wealthy house flippers and people buying two families. As a matter of fact, most people that go down that road are more likely to go bankrupt than they are to create generational wealth. The vast majority of wealthy people created their fortunes through some sort of business venture and then used those fortunes to keep their money by buying and securing real estate. Grant Cardone didn't make his money by buying real estate. He made his money by teaching sales and selling courses, and then used that money to buy real estate as an investment to grow the money that he already created. So it should come as no surprise that any of your friends that have real estate entrepreneur in their bio, that are flipping houses or buying two families in the shitty part of town, most of them are cash strapped and always broke. Money is made through entrepreneurship or having a really high paying job. But money is kept through investments, and that could be real estate, stocks, or any other type of asset. There, I said it.
So that's just not us saying it. It's just not us saying these things. There's plenty of people out there saying similar things that we're talking about when it comes to the real estate versus business conversation. We have it often. We talk about this a lot, and we get a chance to have these conversations with many people that want to compare being in the real estate space versus being in the financial services space or insurance or anything else. So just understand some of the differences where if we've never been taught money, you guys know we teach money. So if we've never been taught money, likely we've learned it from people or places that maybe don't benefit us. There's levels to money. There's the 101, 202, 303 level. You might take in 303 level information, but you personally might be at 101. So we got to now differentiate what are some of the right things that you should be doing. Is real estate a horrible investment? Absolutely not. But as you heard Cody Sanchez say, right, it's more about how we store our wealth. It's not a way to make money. It's a way, once you already have it, that is a place to put it, right? That's a difference. When we talk about earning money, we just talked about cash flow quadrant. When we talk about how we choose to earn money, you have to know you don't earn money through investments, right? That's once you already have money, then you put it there to grow your money and store it. But many people haven't figured out how to earn it first. This is a foundational part for you being an entrepreneur and understanding how to build your foundation. Is we can't just throw all of the money into investments. We have to earn it first. And then we can put it in investments. So when we talk about these differences between the insurance space or right, the financial services space and real estate, these are some of the differences, right? The insurance retirement business, right, has the pros is we have recurring income. We're going to talk a lot about that type of stuff. And it's low overhead, highly regulated. You got to get some licenses. The benefit of real estate, you get a tangible asset. It's always good to be able to see a home, see the apartment, see the land. That's fine. But the cons is it's very high upfront costs, and it depends on the market. You can buy it at a bad time and that not be a good investment for you. Absolutely. So understanding that when we compare these two, we believe we're way ahead of the game when it comes to learning how to earn money. It's better done through the financial services space than it is in the real estate space. Why the financial services industry is the most lucrative sector? One, when you deal with money, you make money. Right? When you deal with money, you make money. And there's a lot of benefits here in the financial space, right? One of them being it's a high demand industry, supremely stable. People want to talk about safety and security inside of a job. Well, everything you're working for has to deal with our industry. Everything you're going to do for the rest of your life that deals with money, it's going to deal with someone in the financial industry. Financial industry has been around longer than most other industries. So it's super stable. And financial services, right, are needed for individuals, for businesses, for all types of people in all different types of economic cycles. Talk about our business. We have these conversations with a lot of people about the pandemic. Some business owners are still reeling from the pandemic, still reeling from, right, the losses inside of their business. Our business took off in 2020. Our business took off in the pandemic. We had amazing growth. Why? Because whether it's a down market or whether it's an up market, people always got to deal with their money. In 2020, people just got more fearful, so they needed more help. So they came to us more. But in a good market, when people have extra, they want to know what to do with the extra. When people are down and they don't have it, they want to know exactly where they can make it and what to do with it. So you'll never have to worry about the demand on this side. The scalability and automation, right? We can scale a business. One of the things we talk about with a lot of entrepreneurs is your ability to scale your business. If you're just self-employed, like Zara said, how do we get to being a business owner? It's because we have to learn how to scale. Otherwise, you'll be working in that shop for the next 20, 30, 40 years of your life, where you just bought yourself a job instead of giving yourself time freedom, which is not what we choose to do when we have a business. And obviously in the financial space, very lucrative revenue models. You make really good money on this side. Know that it's the highest paid industry in the world. Some people don't know that, but we tell you that all the time. It's the highest paid industry globally. It beats out retail and real estate combined. If you Google what industry creates the most millionaires, you're going to see the financial services industry is number one. Because again, ladies and gentlemen, when you deal with money, you make money. We even had a video we did over on our YouTube of the different reasons, right, why we would choose financial services over real estate. So for anyone that is listening, that is thinking about getting a real estate license, or you have a real estate license and it's not doing what you want it to do, take a look at these videos. Take a look at what are the differences of building a financial services agency versus building something in the real estate side, right? So let's dive in really quickly, because again, we want to give you information that maybe you've heard of, but maybe hasn't been put in this same way or in the ways that we're explaining it to you, because these are the things that set you aside in business, because you're thinking differently about your business instead of just taking the information from the people around you. So here's another quick video for you.
Follow your passion, follow your talent. And if someone tells you to follow your passion, it means they're already rich. Our advice: find out what you're good at and apply the thousands of hours of grit and sacrifice necessary to become great at it. As you get there, the feeling of growth and mastery, along with the economic rewards, recognition, and camaraderie of being great at something, will make you passionate about whatever it is.
Find out what you're good at. That is the best piece of advice I think you could give someone. In order to support something that you're passionate about, you need to find something that you're talented in to earn the money to get yourself to a certain level where you can support causes that you are passionate about. And if you haven't found something or a job that you're talented at, keep looking, because
following your passion is a surefire way to end up broke. What you want to be following is the marketplace. If you want to build a business, and I mean a real business, you need to figure out a known problem that people have that they are screaming for a solution for. And your passions are not necessarily going to lead you in that direction. Speaking as someone who has built companies based on passion only to watch them tank, and then to build one based on purpose and watch it absolutely explode, I am speaking from experience. Find a known problem that people want solved and solve it better than anybody else, and pour yourself into that. Now, you want to connect with something real. You don't want to pursue something that you don't care about, but you want to pursue something that the world cares about and connect your passion to that. That's the recipe for success.
Follow your passion.
Don't follow your passion, follow your talent. This is not advice that most of us receive in life. This was not the advice that most of us received when starting your business. This is not the advice that your high school, college counselor told you was going to make you successful, was to follow your talent, not your passion. But it's so important, ladies and gentlemen, to understand that the place that you may make money, the place that you may make the biggest impact, will not be the thing you are the most passionate about immediately. It's normally not the way that it works. It's normally not that we get passionate, we think of what our passion is, and then we just say, let's go make a business out of that, and then that business becomes successful. Very rare that happens. Tom Bilyeu was the guy at the end. He said, follow the marketplace, which is another line of thought that successful entrepreneurs will say. You'll hear this not just from us, but from the most successful people. Success leaves clues. If you want to be successful in your business in 2025, you have to pick up clues from people that have been successful. So if you've been a person that's been following your passions, I really like this. I really think this is cool. That's probably not the way that you're going to build a big business that gets you free. However, if you figure out your talent, what are you good at? See, something that Zara and I learned is what we were good at. I'm good with people. I come from hospitality. I've dealt with people for my entire life. I'm good with people, right? Zara's good in business, in sales, with systems, with putting things in place. She knows that's a skill set of hers. When we take our skill sets, our individual skill sets, and we find a platform that we can utilize our skill sets, we can get passionate about it. No one wakes up and says, I'm passionate about being an accountant. I'm not passionate about, being this job title. But because I'm competent in it, because I'm good at it, because I receive recognition from it, because I have all of these things, I grow passion to do those things. So one of the fallacies when we have to change the way we think, if we want to be successful in business, we have to stop thinking from a place of, hey, this is my passion. This is why I'm doing it. We have to start at a place of either A, what's my talent? What's my talent? Or what's the market telling me? Where is the need? And this is where we're going to talk about a couple other factors when considering what business to pick or what business to be in or industry to be in. But one of the main factors is where's the need? Where's the demand? Where's the white space? Who needs this? If there's a need, but there's a bunch of people doing it, you're not going to make money in it. If it's a need that a lot of people need and you see no one doing it, then more than likely you'll have success there. So these are some things to start to consider. There are 3 factors to consider. Babe, jump in. The 3 factors to consider when choosing business, a new business, or an industry that you're about to go into. First one, high overhead versus low overhead. Go ahead and unmute yourself.
And I was going to say, before we get into this, you guys, I really want to hammer down on this like passion and emotion thing as it pertains to business and successful entrepreneurship. A lot of times, again, like Chris said, we've been kind of conditioned to think like success means follow your passion. Success means it's a more technical thing. You could follow, we're not saying don't follow your passion. You can follow your passion even better and with more resources and tools and money and time after you've done the hard thing, which is the technical part of success. Like most people understand when you're a business owner, it's best not to get emotional about your business. Don't get emotional about your product. Don't get emotional about your service. Don't get emotional because once you're clouded with emotion, you're not able to make serious business definitive decisions that need to be made that are better for your future and your scaling and your success that may not be what you want or feel you want to do. Like saying goodbye to Libby Grow, our very first product, putting that thing to rest and saying, we're not going to win the counterfeit. We're not going to win this battle. They've taken us under, and saying, what is the next big, that's what we did. We follow the market. What is the next big thing that we can jump into? Are we passionate about vapes? Absolutely not. We didn't even know crap about vapes. We just knew that's the next big trending product. There's not a lot of people out there doing it yet, especially people who have our resources to be able to build the brand quick and get it out there. So that's what we jumped into. It was zero emotion involved. The only emotion was my brother being able to say goodbye to Libby Grow. And he would have been able to say goodbye years before it got bad and we spit all our money in the wind, trying to fight the counterfeit. If he could have just been like, oh, okay, emotions aside, let's jump to another business right now because we're not going to win this game. So even when it comes to starting a new business endeavor, you've got to get the emotion out of it. You've got to see clearly so you can say, hey, or if you're already in it, let's say you're in real estate. I talk to so many real estate people and they're so afraid to get out of real estate because of the time that they've already put into real estate. And they feel like now they have to see it through, kind of like a bad relationship. Don't do that. That's the emotion. You've got to say, hey, I'm not winning at this game. I can't scale fast enough. There might be more money in this industry. Let me go over there and make the technical, most logical decision to where you're going to get the most bang for your time. And then after you got the most bang for your time and you've seen good success, and now you've built a machine, a system that is going to continue to run and give you that great income, now you can go spend that income on all the passionate endeavors that you want. But to really separate emotion and logic is extremely important. So while we continue to go down these slides, you guys, I don't want you to take offense if we are saying, hey, this industry is not going to take you where you want to go fast enough, but this industry is. I want you guys to see it from a very technical, logical perspective. And that's really, really hard to do. That's a big, step up as an entrepreneur. So let's get back to the ham and cheese of the business. When choosing a business, ham and cheese, you like that? That was like the main stuff of a sandwich. When choosing a business, these are the three most important things to look at: high overhead versus low overhead. Do you want a lot of expenses, or do you want to minimize your expenses? How do we understand how to do that? High overhead businesses examples: retail stores, restaurants, manufacturing operations, things that require a lot of upfront investment, upfront capital to start up, and things that also require lots of ongoing capital, especially businesses where you have to have inventory. If you're selling products, inventory is a huge guzzler, because now to house that inventory, you've also now got to have a place to house it. So now you're talking about the inventory, the cost of the inventory, the cost of your building, wherever you're housing that inventory, shipping costs. There's so much more overhead that goes into a business that has actual tangible products that you're selling. Businesses that have lower overhead, e-commerce, digital products, consulting services, those are types of businesses where you don't really have a tangible product. Maybe you have a digital product, like this says. Maybe you're providing just consulting services, like your experience, your knowledge, your education. You don't have to house anything anywhere. You may or may not even have to have an office space, especially now, like Chris said, with COVID, we've been able to transition so much of so many different types of businesses to an online platform that has saved people time and money and space and all kinds of things. Financial implications. High overhead often equates to higher risk, but can also result in higher returns, while low overhead provides greater flexibility. So you want to increase your risks, or you want to decrease your risks? Really, when you're looking, this is just a key factor. When you are looking into starting a business or moving into another business, overhead is crucial. It's one of the most crucial things you can think about in the starting process. Yep. Second thing is automation. Oh, go ahead, baby. Go ahead. What's that? No, go ahead. Second thing is active businesses versus automated businesses, balancing involvement and efficiency. Active businesses, these include consulting, retail shops, and healthcare practices requiring constant owner presence. This is what we mean about being on the left side of the quadrant. This means you're self-employed. The owner has to be there running the business. You're kind of stuck on the job. Automated businesses, this includes franchises, digital products, and financial agencies which operate with minimal owner input. Really, that means you were just able to duplicate yourself easily, very easily. For us to have passed down all the experience that we acquired through blood, sweat, and tears and time in our distribution company, there was no possible way to pass that down to anyone. Or duplicate ourselves to anybody. It was just too much information, too much ongoing changes of work and ethic and all kinds of different things. Whereas when you have an easy system, you can just easily duplicate that upon someone else. Now you can walk away and go do something else while that person then runs that system, just like a Starbucks. Transition and scalability, moving from active to automated. Go back, baby. Yeah. Moving from active to automated models enables growth and frees up personal time. So that's really what the automation side gives you, is your time back, gets you over to that right side of the quadrant. Go ahead.
Yeah. So again, this conversation, I don't think people think about enough, the active versus automation parts of the business. Right? Active business challenges, like it says here, whether it's a hair salon or a law firm or a bakery, it just requires the owner to be involved so much. The reason why I would never go into operations of a restaurant is because I know, even as the owner, I will still have to be there. We would still have to oversee, right, the inventory and when things break down and all the stuff that happens. So those are very active businesses. We're very used to starting active businesses, ladies and gentlemen. Most of the people we coach are in some form of an active business where it's you, that person, maybe a few employees, and that's where you're building, very self-employed like. But the automated business side is something we have to move to. Again, we're trying to help you move yourself towards 2025 and beyond. So you have to start thinking about some things a little bit differently. And I know we didn't grow up with technology. We don't put a lot of technology and things into our businesses typically as we get started. But this is a place you have to start to think about so your future business can benefit. How do we automate certain things? Whether it's drop shipping or right things that can automate that have little involvement with the owner is important. So active businesses depend on hands-on management. Automated ones leverage systems. I want you to understand those differences. If you run an active business, it's going to be very hands-on. You're going to need people in place, labor. When you start to shift some of your mindset into businesses that are a bit more automated, you can start leveraging systems. That frees up your time if you can leverage systems. But the key is putting these types of things into your businesses. So we have high versus low overhead businesses, automation, right? Active versus like the automation side. And then lastly, the demand, right?
Demand is crucial in any type of transaction. You can't sell what people don't want or what they don't need. And the higher or the lower their need is for that thing, the lower chance and probability that you're going to be able to sell that product easily. So really understanding, and that's again, market chasing, understanding what people are looking for. What's the next big thing? What hasn't anybody solved yet? What problem has not been solved yet where maybe I could provide a service or a consulting service, or I could put in a system that could solve that big problem. Big thing right now is healthcare for elderly people, home care. That's a ginormous thing. Chris and I, this is one of those passion businesses. Chris and I, after experiencing some of this stuff with family members, we said, you know what, there's a ginormous need here. My goodness, just like a liaison need to be able to match families up with the right programs and educate them on how to get their needs fulfilled using and reaching for the right programs. Just a liaison service is something that's not out there a lot and could easily be implemented, which is, again, it's a service, not a product, no inventory, no overhead, and it could be easily duplicable. Once we get that system in place, we can then teach that system to someone else. Boom, you've got yourself a business. So let's talk about this some more. Demand as a key business driver. Entrepreneurs must access consistent and scalable demand when selecting a business to ensure sustainability and growth. Again, that's the other thing too. Lots of times as entrepreneurs, we want to think like a little bit more short term. What can I create now to start selling now and this and that? But we really have to look 15, 20, 50 years down the line. If you're trying to create a business and you want it to be sustainable and successful, then your business plan has to be that far out. You have to think that far ahead. So the demand for that product or that service that you're trying to create and put all this time in, that you're about to put all this time in, you better want to make sure that that's going to be needed in the next 40, 50 years. So then your business doesn't fizzle out when that product or service is no longer needed. Strategic decision-making. Identifying industries with enduring demand helps minimize risk and ensure long-term profitability. That's what we just talked about. And avoiding volatility. Choosing businesses with fluctuating demand can jeopardize stability and hinder growth. This is huge as it pertains to real estate. Real estate is a very cyclical industry. You know, when you are working in real estate and you are trying to make your income from real estate, whether you're an agent or a broker, or whether, you know, you're trying to do it on the investment side, it all is going to depend on the market in the end. So it fluctuates. So again, choosing a business, a product or a service that is not going to be so dependent on fluctuating factors.
Huge. It's huge.
That
Wayne Gretzky quote, that Wayne Gretzky quote in there that says, "I skate to where the puck is going to be, not where it's been," is an important saying we got to understand. We're very open to knowing businesses that have worked, but are we up on the businesses that will work in the future, right? Where the puck is going. When Gretzky played, right, he was an ice hockey. He was an ice hockey player, so the puck, right? So you skate to where it's going. You get ahead of the curve. You don't say, "Hey, I know where it's been." This is an important key in business as you're building business. So those 3 factors to consider when choosing an industry, when choosing a business. What's the overhead? Is it high overhead? Is it low overhead? Is it something you're gonna have to put a bunch of money into? Is it something you're gonna have a high lease and inventory and forklifts and people and the whole 9? Is that the way it's gonna go? Or do you want something that's very flexible, that has very low overhead? What about the active versus automated side? You want labor, you want people in the business, because people, employee retention is one of the highest, one of the top conversations for most employers, right? Is how do I keep employees? How do I find a good person to work with me? So do you want that side, or do you want things that are a little bit more automated, where you can leverage some more systems to be able to bring you more income? And what about the demand in your industry? Did you pick an industry that has a good supply and demand arbitrage? Is it something that you knew had a demand, but maybe doesn't have a demand currently, maybe won't have a demand in 5 years? Or is this something that is rising in demand? More and more people will need it. More and more are headed in this direction. I love having the demand business conversations. For anybody that's on the call that you maybe don't have a specific business idea, I'll give you a bunch that just deal with demand, right? Somebody want to start dealing in, gambling addiction, gambling recovery centers. If anybody wants to start a business, there's a great idea for you, right? Because over the next 10 years, we're going to have people that are fully addicted to online gambling, to sports betting. It's going to ruin them financially, and there's nobody kind of stepping in to intervene. You want to get ahead of the curve, right? You want to skate to where the puck is going. That could be an idea for you, right? There's tons of these types of ideas, but either way, you got to think of these things as you're choosing a business. I see the question in the chat. It says, can you speak a little on nonprofit businesses? How does deciding high versus low overhead make an impact in choosing this path? Great question. So let me just give a basic understanding of the for-profit versus not-for-profit conversation. I say it in that way because there's a lot of people that want to start a not-for-profit company. The only difference, here's something I always educate. I sat on the board for a small time of a nonprofit, a not-for-profit. I was executive director of a not-for-profit for a small amount of time. So here's something I learned. Whether it's a for-profit or a not-for-profit, both are business entities and they have to be run like a business. The only difference is how income comes in. A for-profit business has something that they can make a profit from, so they can sell a part of something, whatever the service, whatever the product is, and it can come in. From the other side, a not-for-profit, they can't have anything that creates them a profit. They have to rely on grants and donations and fundraisers in order to bring income into that business. So to answer the question, as far as high overhead, low overhead, well, if you say on the not-for-profit side, I don't have control of making money. The only control you have is getting grants and then the fundraising that you're able to do, the generosity of the people that will give you money. That's to the limits of what you can do in that not-for-profit. In your for-profit business, you can focus on some of the things we just talked about, which is sales and marketing, and drive it. Now, you can do the same thing in a not-for-profit, but it's a little bit easier to focus on it in a for-profit. That way, you have the ability to drive more revenue. So maybe you can handle a little bit more overhead. Maybe. It really depends on your preference. It also depends on your ability to how you are going to make income. How are we going to bring revenue in to this for-profit or this not-for-profit? We have to have a vision of that. Then with the revenues that we believe we can have, then we decide where's the smartest place to put this revenue. Is it best to put it in a high overhead business? Is it good to buy a warehouse? Do I need a place to stay? Right? Like, I don't know, but that's what we would decipher. So great question. For profit, not for profit really has to do with how you choose to make income, revenue in that business model. And a lot of not-for-profits that I've seen and worked with struggle to make revenue. They struggle to have more funds for their amazing cause. They have an amazing cause, an amazing mission, and they're going to do some really good things, but they don't know money, and they can't raise money, and they can't get enough money to do all the things that their vision has set for them because they have no mechanism. They got to just learn how to fundraise and learn how to get gifts. For-profit business, back to what we were just talking about. Sometimes it's not the passion that you're going at. The nonprofit might be your passion. It might be the thing you really want to make happen. But you go make money over here on this side because there's a system, there's automation, there's a need, there's a way to make money, and then you use that for your nonprofit. It doesn't all have to come through that one business side. So good question. Those are some things. If you have other questions on that non-for-profit side of things, definitely drop them in the chat, because I know a lot of people that want to start businesses, but I always explain non-profit, not-for-profit, for-profit, they're both business entities. You got to learn sales, marketing, financials, and operations. All right. So those are some things for all you business owners that have been on this call for the time you spent some time with us. We wanted to give you all of the value up front, the things that you could take away. Again, understanding what shifts you got to make if you already have your own business. What are some shifts you got to make? Well, you got to get better with sales and marketing. I'll just tell you that right up front without even knowing your business. If you're not growing the way that you want to, sales and marketing, how do you influence more people to do what's right for them, get their product, exchange value with you? And how do you get more people to hear about it? How do you get more attention? Money follows attention. If you're struggling in the business you've already created, it's probably one of those, if not both of those two things that you could focus on in 2025, and it'll move the needle of your business. Not the VA, not the other courses, not the other information that you need. Literally go sell something and get more people to know about what you do. If you can just practice those two practical things in your business will continue to grow. If you're moving into new industries, 2025, you're like, I need a brand new industry. I need to do something different. Well, here's some things to consider. Some things to consider is, well, what type of business would you want to be in? Hopefully you're not following just your passion, you're following your talent. You're figuring out, hey, over the last 15 years, I've been doing this one thing and people say I do it well. So maybe I take that talent and I move it into a better container that can make me money, that has the horsepower to get me to where I want to go. So we're figuring out what our talents are, and then we're paying attention to what the demand is in the marketplace. We're saying, man, what do people need right now? What are people talking about that they need, that it's not there, that they can't access it yet? Well, can I give that to them? Those are some things to think about if you haven't even started your business yet for 2025. What's the overhead like? Is it high? Is it low? Am I going to have to put a bunch of cash in this thing? Is there automation? Am I going to need more people? Am I going to need a manager and a general manager and employees? Or do I have systems in place? Can I just automate some things? Can I work from home? Can I sit in front of a computer? Can I have minimal interaction that is needed for just me to move the business forward? Those are things to consider if you were thinking about and growing a business. But for all of you that have stuck around this far, just know that the reason why we talk about it this way is because Zara and I have found the business. We found the platform that takes care of all of these things. The reason why we can come up with this list and comprise this information for you is because we've coached a ton of you. We've coached hundreds of people. We've been here for 12 years. We've coached hundreds of people in this space of entrepreneurship. And normally what happens is we send them off back into businesses that we know don't have the horsepower to get them to where they want to go financially. They don't have the systems in place. There is high overhead. There's not a lot of demand. They don't have a lot of automation. They're really starting things from scratch. And it takes such a long time. Then they're not in the right mindset, and their family is giving them a bunch of grief for it, and they don't want to quit their job. And there's all these little things that start coming into play when they want to go off and build a business. So we said, listen, let's show you what we do. our business has been able to transition us from that left side of the quadrant, that employee, self-employed side, over into the business owner investor side. We're in the highest paid industry in the world, and there's a huge demand for what we're doing. So we want to be able to share this with you for this last bit of tonight. We've given you a bunch of info on what you can go off and do for your own business if you have your own idea. But we're going to tell you about our business and about what we do here with World Financial Group and United Agency. We have a proven system that has proven results. And you get people like Zara and I to mentor you and to train you and to coach you on how to run it. That is something that most entrepreneurs don't have. If you go off and start a restaurant, if you go off and start a salon, if you go off and buy some business, you have to figure it out yourself. There's no mentor that's going to come around and say, I'll spend time with you just to help you in that. We will do that for you. We'll mentor you, we'll coach you all the way down the path so that you can build whatever it is that you're trying to build in the future. Okay? Here, take a look at this really quickly, and I'm going to dive in and talk to you about some of the benefits, some of the things that we have here in our business that you should really know, that makes sense. Let's dive in real quick.
It makes me proud to be at WFG. The number of families that we're able to take care of in Canada, the 91% that aren't getting attention at all, which was us back in the day, who, wake up in the middle of the night wondering, how they're going to make it through the next day, the next month, what retirement looks like, what about their kids. And we're able to give them some relief from that stress and able to help them have a plan and a friendship and a trusting relationship that's not going to make them feel dumb, but constantly educate and teach them. And I just love that piece. So what originally attracted me to WFG was that my husband and I were both music teachers. Our oldest son, Ryan, was a hockey-playing violinist academic in Canada, had a chance to go to the US on a half ride, and we simply didn't have the other 25,000 times 4 years. And I ended up sitting down with Corey Michaud. He freed us up $1,800 in cash every month. That then we reallocated, once I got over myself for messing up, but we reallocated that for Ryan to be able to go. And then 3 years later, our daughter was an actor, singer, dancer, no degree program for that in Canada. She ended up getting accepted at University of Arizona. Out of 800, they take 12 or 15. And we didn't want to say no. Went back to Corey and I said, now what? He said, well, I did a miracle for Ryan, not sure I got another one, but you can teach. I said, yeah. He said, why don't you come teach with us? What sets WFG apart from other entrepreneurship opportunities is that you're in business for yourself, but not by yourself. I don't do sales. I'm a teacher by trade, I've taught all my life. And so I think instead of being pressured by having to do a sale, just go teach people. Show them their options, show them what they can be doing differently from what they're doing now and how that'll improve their life. And it's just as they get pumped about it, you'll get pumped about it. And so just go teach. And I just love the fact that the difference it made for our family and how I'm now blessed to make that same difference for a whole bunch of other families.
Again, from all walks of life, we have tons and tons of these types of testimonials from all walks of life. We have a proven system, proven results, works. This is your ability to get out of the rat race.
Before you go to the next slide, babe. And I'll tell you guys, like from our experience, when we came into World Financial Group, it was before, when I was transitioning from distribution and looking for another business, in my mind, we were talking about like buying a franchise. Okay, can we afford a Starbucks? Because that'll be so much money. I looked into those numbers. It was over $1 million for a Starbucks. Can we do a Jamba Juice? We started looking into like all these franchises that we could buy, because then, hey, we could get ourselves a system. We could run a couple Subways, whatever. Never did I think I could start a franchise type of business model in the financial services industry. Like it just never crossed my mind. I didn't know about it. But once I realized it, like once I saw the business structure, and like Chris said, I'm very logical when it comes to business. If you show me a system that can get me somewhere very quickly with minimal amount of work, upfront costs, overhead, and all those things that we just talked about, and gives me longevity, so I don't have to come up with another business in the next 10 years because this one is going to fizzle out, I'm all for it, and I see it, and I'm going to give it my all. So this is essentially what World Financial Group gave us, was bring your entrepreneurial work ethic, knowledge, and put it into this system. We've created a business in a box, is really what it is. For you business owners out there who are trying to start your own business, you have to create your everything from the ground up. Whereas here you are literally handed a business in a box that is going to last forever. The demand is going to last forever. It's amazing. So that was our journey into it, and that was my perspective on it. But that's how I want you guys to kind of take a look at this, is system, franchise. That's really what World Financial Group offers, is a system so you can run multiple agencies if you want, and gives you that longevity.
We'll break it down for people, because again, we just went through all the things to look for if you're going to start a business, right? We just went through the things you're going to have to know: sales, marketing, financials, operations. You're going to need to understand the demand of the industry, the overhead of it, right? If there's automation. And again, when we get to the conclusion, again, we've found this for you. So if this is something you say, hey, you know what? I probably could use some additional income, another stream. If you're already a business owner, we'll talk about this. There's lots of options for how people use the platform, but this is a platform. This is a vehicle to get you to your dreams. This is a vehicle to get you to your dreams. You might have dreams. You might have things you want to make happen in business, but you don't have a vehicle to get you there. You
might have ideas for other businesses that you want to pursue, your nonprofit. Hey, no, I want to have this hair salon and I want to keep it in the family, and I love doing this, and I want to have this other type of business. Absolutely, you can, but don't let that thing dry you out, burn you out, having you work 80 hours a week, and then God forbid you get sick, you're not able to work, you can't take vacation, you can't go see your kids' recitals because you're stuck to that job you've given yourself. Like that's what we're saying. You can pursue all of those things after you've jumped into a vehicle that's going to take you to those dreams faster and with less time.
That's it. That's the way it goes. So things to think about that we've already gone over, but specifically for our business, right? We're able to leverage the cash flow quadrant to get you on that BI side. We focus on, again, low overhead. We don't do any high overhead. We like low overhead, keeps us flexible, and we have a ton of automation I'm going to share with you and show you what we have here. It's a high demand industry, and you can build a business that ultimately, like Zara keeps saying, you get your time back. A mentor of ours used to tell us all the time, you don't start a business because you have time. You start a business because you want time. And so if that is something that you want, you might not think you have the time right now, but if time is something you want, time freedom to be able to do things the way that you want to, when you want to, then you must have a business that is able to duplicate. So again, benefits of being here. What side of the quadrant do you want to be on? The ES side or the BI side? Which side? The ES side or the BI side? I know we want to be on the BI side. That's what the business does for you. It gives you a business, a system that runs your business so you can leverage systems and not be self-employed for your entire life. And you learn money and you understand how to make your money work for you, because we're educators around money. So our business puts you on the other side of the cash flow quadrant. No matter where you are or what you're doing, this gives you the ability to get to the other side because all these things are already done for you. We have an effective, simple business system. If you bought a McDonald's, you do not have to be a chef to buy a McDonald's. I hope you all understand that. I hope you all know that if you choose to find the best business opportunity and it happened to be a Chick-fil-A, you would not go to culinary school to learn how to be a chef to go buy a Chick-fil-A, right?
You don't even need to know about business to buy a franchise like that. You really don't need, you could be anybody off the street, as long as you have that capital to put up. You don't have to really know anything about the business because the system, it's a business in a box. You just jump in and you just run it. You don't have to know about the marketing and how to put it together and how to market. All the marketing advertising is already done. The company's handling that.
even if you did know, it wouldn't behoove you to actually change the Big Mac, right? Like if you did know how to make a bigger burger, it wouldn't make sense for you to go into your McDonald's and change the Big Mac and change how they do the fries. That wouldn't make sense, right? You would keep it the way that it is because you know the system works. And your job is to not be in the business all the time, dropping fries and saying, welcome to McDonald's, may I take your order? Your job is to be the business owner and say, how do we open a new one in a different part of the city next year? So eventually I have 6 locations that are all running instead of just one. That's what you would do as the owner. Well, same thing here in business. We have our Hamburger U. It's called the business format system. It is the system that we have here that allows you to say, no matter what background you came from, you're a teacher, you're a janitor, you came from financial services, you used to be in real estate, you were a business owner, it doesn't matter what you did. We have a system that you can learn that then can create all of the things that it's created for the rest of us. No prior experience necessary. We have great training, right? You don't have to even quit your job or quit your business. You can do this part-time, bring in extra income for yourself and for your family. We believe in leadership and mentorship and getting you to be the best version of yourself. We don't do any of the cold calls or door knocking or quotas. There's no boss. This ain't a job. Like this is an opportunity that's why we were talking specifically to entrepreneur-minded people. We don't want to convince you that, right, being an entrepreneur is the right thing to do. If you already know that that's what you got to do, now it's just about finding the right vehicle.
Exactly.
And we have a vehicle. We get paid twice a week. Most people get paid twice a month. We get paid every Tuesday and every Friday. There's residual income. You can work from home. There's bonus pools. There's renewal income. There's a ton of opportunities to be able to run a system that's effective without you having to go back to school and recreate the wheel to be able to do all those things. So that's something that we have. It's low overhead, low initial startup costs, less than the cost of a real estate license. I know if somebody's on here, you've been picking on real estate for a long time, probably. Again, like Zara said, don't take offense if you got a real estate license or you're in mortgages, or even if that's something that you wanted to do. It's fine. We just have experience in talking to a lot of people in the real estate side. There's another video, I meant to pull it up, but I don't have it. But it literally said that last year, like 47% of realtors didn't sell a home. So in an industry where it's flooded with a ton of people, almost half of the licensed realtors in America did not even sell one home, not even one. So we hear a lot about people being very cliche to be like, go get a real estate license, go get a real estate license. But we know that what we do is better than that side because there's more demand. The market's not saturated. It's not as much overhead. It's easier to get a license. That video that Zara just dropped, that video that Zara just dropped in there is something, again, you can go back and take a look at. But either way, financial services, low startup costs. We don't have employees. If any of you owned a business where you had employees, drop a 1 in the chat. If you've had a business where you've had to hire someone on a W-2, like they're an employee of yours, they're not 1099, they're a W-2 employee. Drop a 1 in the chat if that's you. Because if that's you, then you understand the downside of it. You understand the workers' comp. You understand the time off. You understand the insurance, the liabilities, the training programs, the hiring and firing. Like you understand how much of a headache having just one employee is. Just one. Now you're trying to build a company where you have 100. On this side, we don't have employees. Everybody's 1099. Everybody's independent contracted. We serve you, we lead you, we coach you, we mentor you, we train you, all the stuff, but you are not an employee of ours. You're not an employee of WFG. You're on a 1099. We don't have any employees on this side. You don't have to pay money to buy leads. There's no major franchise fees. Like if you wanted to buy a McDonald's, you need $1.5 million liquid to be able to purchase a McDonald's. Most of us don't have that, right? You don't got 1.5 to drop that down. Some people are like, oh, well, I'll just get a Chick-fil-A, it's 10,000 down. Yeah, sure, after you get vetted and go through their whole process. And then there's more fees that you pay every month just to have that franchise. We don't have any of that. No franchise fees, no down payments, no crazy inventory you got to keep, no major insurances. You don't have to have a storefront. You don't have to keep up an office lease. You don't have to worry about when the pipe breaks and all your inventory gets watered on. And then you got to call the insurance claim. And when somebody breaks into your place because they were out drinking and they threw a rock through your window, and now you got to go fix the window.
Worry about merchant processing and those fees.
There's a ton.
And
again,
dropping you whenever you need, or whenever they go bankrupt. Now you need a new merchant processor.
we try to make this simple for you because we've been down there. This is a process of no liabilities. It's almost a risk-free start for a business. Almost a risk-free start for a business. Crazy that people would pass it up. But that's, again, benefits on the side, that there's low overhead. You want to talk about the automation side? We talked about active versus automated business. You know, we have all the automations needed. People don't know this type of stuff because, again, we don't always step out and we're not always talking to people in our, in other industries, but we have all the automations. We have a sales system automation, our business format system. That is a sales system. It tells you 6 steps of, if you rapidly do this, you'll create sales. We have it in a manual. If you've learned how to read, you can be good at the business, right? Because you can learn how to read that manual. It's a sales system. For us here at United Agency, Zara and I have built something on the marketing side where we are able to automate some of your social media, some of your marketing. I told you before, if the pillars are sales, marketing, finances, and operations, do you have a sales system? We do. Do you have a marketing system? We do. We put out content for past 7, 8, 9 years. We've been putting out content. You want to tap in? We can show you exactly how to build your social media, how to build your marketing, how to get eyeballs on what you're doing, because we've been doing it. That's in the marketing and social media space. What about some of these others? Lead generation. I'm going to share some demos on a couple of these, but lead generation, we have an ability to just send out a presentation to someone via text or via email, so that then they can tell us if they're open to it, if they want to have a further conversation. How cool is that? What about training? What about just getting trained? What about once you come in, how do you get trained? You heard the lady on the video say, hey, you're in business for yourself, but not by yourself, right? Well, how do we train you? And then how do we follow up on these processes? We have all of these automations already in place for you. Let me give you a quick show, right? I told you that we have a lead generation automation service. It's called I Decide. Real basic.
Is being watched and what choices have been made throughout. We're going to send our I Decide link to our contact through a text message. Your presentations will include your contact information, as well as the name of the person you're sending it to create.
How cool is it that we have an automated presentation we can just send to someone via text? Does your business have that automation? Do you know how much it would cost to put automation like that into your business to get it set up for you? What about the training side of things? Like I said, we have a whole automated training platform. What if you came in first time, you're licensed, and we tell you DIY this thing? You got a job, you got other things going on, DIY this. Go in here, look at our vision, look at the retreats, look at the trainings, look at the onboarding, look at the pre-licensing, look at step by step how we would train you in your business. All here, all automated. Nothing you got to create or figure out. What about when the follow-up time comes? When you're having conversations, this is our CRM. It's blank on this side, but we have a ton of people in our CRM, but you have access to the follow-up automation. When you have conversations, if you want to look at some of your reporting, right? If you want to see exactly what's happened, how many calls have you made? How many conversions, right? How many text messages got sent out? How many people are studying for their test? How many people got rescheduled? We have all of the automations already in place. The automation's already there for you. The reason why you would buy a franchisable business, a business model, is because everything's done for you. Everything's done for you. Imagine having sales, marketing, right? Financials, operations, all in a system that you can leverage that has nothing to do with your time and your abilities, has everything to do with your ability to just talk to someone and show them what it is we're doing. High automated businesses. Again, that's why we found it. Talk about high demand. Talk about high demand. Those of you that gotten a chance to sit down with us and actually do a financial needs analysis, you know, this is our front facing thing that we share with business owners, with individuals, with families. It's these 6 things. These are the foundations of your financial life. This is in high demand. Hey, drop a 1 in the chat if you personally or you know somebody that needs to make more money, that needs to bring in more income, that complains about not having enough. Drop a 1 in the chat if you know somebody that needs to make more money, whether that's you, whether that's other people that you know, some family member need to keep more of the money that they're making, keep living paycheck to paycheck. Look, I know it's a bunch of us. We all know people like this. That's how you know something is in high demand, because you all know people that have that. What about people that want to save money? Drop a 2 in the chat. If you're participating, drop a 2 in the chat if you know someone that wants to save more money. They talk about saving more money, whether that's you or whether that's a family member or a kid or right somebody at your job. Drop a 2 in the chat, bunch of 2s. Why? Because everyone knows we're talking about people that want to save more money. Everybody wants to do this stuff. I don't have to go through the rest, but just know.
Do this stuff. That's the key. Everyone needs it. This is a want. These demands, or this is a need. These are the things, and that's a huge definitive thing when you're talking about what it is that you're going to be selling or offering. Is it a need or is it a want? Based on those 2 things, your probability is going to be high or low. Sometimes there are things that are wants and they're big wants, so maybe your probability of selling and success are going to be high. But when you move into that need sector, it's ginormous. It immediately catapults you into longevity and success because it's a need that is out there for people.
It's a huge point. Now, let me give you the other side of it, because Zara's right. It's also easier to sell a want than a need, right? Because people want things. And so it's like, ooh, I want that, regardless if it's best for them. It's not really what that want is about. But when you give somebody what they actually need, their medicine, most people don't want to take their medicine. Even though they know they need it, they don't want to take their medicine. But that's also where all the opportunity lies. When you solve really big problems, you make really big money. When you solve really small problems, you make really small money. So we're solving a really big problem here. Financial illiteracy, financial education. Who's out there teaching people money? Who's responsible for teaching your grandchild money? Who's responsible for teaching your daughter money? Who's responsible for teaching, right, any of the people in your family money? You're going to leave it up to the system. You're going to leave it up to their coworkers. You're going to leave it up to whatever they happen to see on the internet. Or are you going to say, hey, let's learn this together as a family. Let's learn how to budget and understand our cash flow. Let's learn how to save money. Let's make sure we get ourselves out of debt. Let's make sure we understand how interest rates work and compound interest work. Let's understand insurance. Let's start to teach our children and the people around us that insurance is not for burial. It is not about passing away. It is not about leaving like a little bit of money so someone can bury you. Proper protection is about the replacing of your income. If we're building a financial foundation and you being a business owner, I know that's who we're talking to. If I'm talking to you as a business owner, you want to go off and build a business, but you don't have a protection layer. You don't have something that protects your income in the event you get sick, you get cancer, you have a stroke, you have a heart attack, something that will stop your cash flow from coming in. God forbid you passed away. Not can someone put you in the ground, but is there money to keep running that business? Is there money to keep building generational wealth? Do we have to sell all the things that we have? Do we have to start back at zero? These are the questions you should be asking if you're not properly protected, if you don't have that layer of protection in place. That's a need. That's a need that people need to learn and we have to educate on, and we take a huge stance in it. But also the wealth building part, the retirement piece. How much, right? Again, people talk about 401ks and IRAs and Roth IRAs. How much do you really know about it? If this is the sole vehicle to help you retire, how much do you know about it? Why are you even putting money there? What's the difference between tax deferred and tax advantaged? Lastly, how about a will and a trust? If again, I told you, hey, raise your hand or right, drop a 1 in the chat if you know someone that needs a will or a trust, or someone that's had an estate planning conversation or needs to have an estate planning conversation. It'd be a ton, because everyone is having these conversations. They're just not having it with you. They're not having it with financial professionals. That's how you know our industry is in high demand, because you can't find the people that are doing this to really impact the people that are closest to us. That's why that could be you. If you're hearing this, you're getting this information, there's a bunch of people around you in your life that don't know that we exist, that don't know that platforms like this exist, that don't know they can get financial help from someone that looks like them. That's why we're doing this, so that you understand there's a huge demand for it and you can be a part of this demand. What most people want. What do most people want? Some form of time freedom and financial freedom. That's what most people want, y'all. You ask, you boil down, if I ask you your wants, it'll boil down to some form of, I want to be able to have all the money that I want to, so money is not a stressor or an issue in my life. And I would like to have time to do all the things that I would like to do, whether that be travel, be with my family, exercise, go do some competition, whatever it is. That's what most human beings want. Some form of financial freedom, some form of time freedom. I would also say that some form of personal freedom is what people are looking for, to be personally free, to get to a place where you have no limitations, no shackles, nothing holding you down. You can move about life freely. A mentor of ours used to say, you have life exactly where you want it. Exactly where you want it. Your relationships are where you want it. Your health is where you want it. Your finances are where you want it. Everything is where you want it. That's a personal freedom. This is what most of us want. How do we get there? We need to choose the right vehicles that allow us to take ownership of our time, take ownership of our life. And what we're telling you is that this industry, our business, this platform that we have can be the vehicle that takes you to the life that you're looking for. That would suppose that you know where you're going, where you want to go, what 2025 looks like, what type of income, what type of life you want to live. Those are the questions you have to ask yourself. We have a platform that has all the right pieces. Sales is done. Most of the marketing is automated and done. All of the follow-up process is there. The training is there. It's a high demand industry. There's very low overhead. All of the pieces are in place. The only thing that's missing is you and your contribution. We have a plan to grow. We have a plan to continue to build. Some of y'all have seen our vision. We hold morning mindset calls for those of you that happen to jump on every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We always do this to get our minds in the right place to be able to build to the life that we want. As a business, as United Agency, we have a goal of helping 1,000 families become financially independent through entrepreneurship. We believe in entrepreneurship. There's a time in this country where the job was at the pinnacle, right? Where everybody was like, I got a high-paying job. He's got a good job. She's got a good job. That was a time. It's not the time moving forward. Moving forward, people need to understand that ownership of your life, ownership of your income is what will determine the trajectory of your life. So we want to help 1,000 families become financially independent through the gift of entrepreneurship. We're leading 1 million people on the journey of self-mastery and personal growth. That's what our morning mindset calls are for. Feel free to tap into those. We want to help 1,000 families make $100,000 a year on this WFG platform. We are one of them. We're looking for 1,000 other families that we can help show this platform to and allow them to get to that pinnacle 6 figures. You know how most employees are like, man, if I could just make 6 figures, man, if I could just get to 100,000. Well, over here, right? 6 figures is minimum wage. We're in the highest paid industry in the world. We have over 80-something thousand licensed agents all across North America. More than 70% of them making a few $1,000s extra a month. Many of them making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. And that's something that we want to be able to do for you. We want to sow some money into small businesses all over the world. And we want to create a dream and vision school because we know how important it is for our youth to be able to keep that dream machine rolling. Not just our youth, but some of you as well. Turn that dream machine back on. Give yourself.
Before you go to the next slide, babe.
Yeah.
Yes. Before you go to the next slide, babe, I'm so glad you said that at the end, the vision school. And I told you guys, we're talking much higher level business talk. We're talking about getting from level 101 of business and, starting a small business of your own. And sometimes it's because you think you're passionate about it and, you're turning the wheels and all of those things. And now we're going to get to the next levels where we're putting our emotions aside and we're really looking into what is going to give me the best bang for my time, right? And we're going to move levels. When I was considering what is the next business after this distribution business, I wasn't just considering, again, like I told you before, the next 10, 15, 20 years. I was considering like forever, and then Zamina, our daughter, like, what is the next business that we are going to do that we then will be able to pass to her so she could take on that business and thrive, and it'll pay her for the rest of her life, and then the next generation and the next generation. Are you guys thinking that big as the entrepreneurs that are on here? That's the question. Like, are you thinking that big? Are you thinking that far out? Are you thinking of your business is going to take you for the next 10, 15 years and make you financially free in some way, or, you know, just get yourself in business? Or are you like actually thinking of the next generation? And whatever business I put my blood, sweat, and tears and time, my life into, is that going to be something I can easily pass down to my children so that all those blood, sweat, and tears can be continued and put into the ground as seeds for their life that are going to continue to be a harvest for the rest of your generations? Like, that is how far and deep we must think about what types of businesses we are going to put our time into, right? Like, you've got to, this is higher level business. Okay. We talked about like just the fundamentals, the technical stuff. You've got to take that technical stuff and apply it if you want to reach this higher level. You got to put the emotion away. I don't know if I can. I don't know if I like finances. I don't know if I like sales. I don't know if I like. It's not about what you like. It's about what you can get good at. That's going to give you what you want, which is money and time, and something we can pass down generationally to make ginormous change. Like, that's how far we want you guys to expand your mind and really think about business this deeply and this far out, because your time is it's worth it. It's worth it. You don't get your time back. Let's think about that. You don't get your time back. So if we're going to put our time into something, let it be something that's going to give us time, and that's going to give our next generation time, and it's going to get our next generation ahead exponentially. Let's put our time into something that big.
It's huge. That's huge, y'all. So,
sorry, got me passionate there.
Again, if we're looking for people looking for us, we're looking for people looking for us. And at the end of the day, we want to share this information because it may be you on the call. It may be you that you're getting this information. You're like, yeah, this is something I want to explore some more. Great. Let's set up some time. Let's have some individual conversations. Maybe you just know someone that's like, man, they should have been listening to this. They should have been on this call. You're thinking of that entrepreneur-minded person, that person that's running their business, and that you know it's just not going the way they wanted to. They should have been on this call. Send them our direction. Let's have a conversation. But I jotted some of these down. Consider this opportunity. If you're a self-employed entrepreneur and you're looking to make more money or get your time back, If you're already self-employed, you're already in real estate, you're already in mortgages, you already run a hair salon, you already have a small business, you already do something currently, but you're looking to make more and get your time back. Let's talk about how to build an agency that's automated, that gives you the ability to grow some revenue for yourself while you're still doing those other things, if you find that that's the best bang for your buck. But it's really about the time and energy you put into it. But if that's you, we want to have a conversation. Maybe you're a full-time employee. You just got a full-time job and you're trying to find a way to control your time and income. You know it's in this entrepreneur space, but you've never really jumped over and gotten a chance to get your feet wet to really understand how it works as an entrepreneur. Well, we're a great training ground for you. If you've never been fully in the entrepreneur side, but you know that's the direction you got to go, come to a place where you're in business for yourself and not by yourself. You got training, you got mentorship, you got automation. You can be hands off, you can be hands on. However you want to build it, we allow you to build it. But maybe that's you. What if you're a service-based provider? Think of all my therapists, all the doctors, all the people that you're a tax professional. You have a book of business already. You have an existing client base, and you can see this as another stream of income. Take the existing clients you have. If you're a dentist and you have people that are in your dentist office, probably Some of them need some financial guidance or want to have a financial conversation. If you're just the person to say, hey, go see my financial team, hey, go see them, they don't have to know you're getting paid to be able to help with that. But if you know it's good, why not just use your existing clients and the people you already have built relationships with and send them this direction? Maybe that's you, and you can see a way to create this as an additional stream of income, right? Maybe you've tried other businesses. You just haven't found the vehicle to get to your dreams. I know that's a lot of people where you've done other things in the past. You might have even said, I've been in financial services. I did insurance. I was in Primerica back in the day, or A.L. Williams, or whatever the case is. Maybe that was you, but you never really found the vehicle to get to your dreams. You never found the leadership. You never found the system. You never found the automation. You never had the things in place. Well, maybe this is time for you to say, okay, let's pay attention to this one. This could be the vehicle that gets me to where I want to go. If you're just looking for a community of driven, entrepreneur-minded people to do business and life with, that's us. If you have a heart for people and you want to make a huge impact in people's lives, again, you're for us. And if you just have a desire for a deeper mission and more fulfillment in the work that you do, if you're going about your day and you have a good heart for people, but you know the work that you do is not the most fulfilling, it's not getting you to the place where you can be fulfilled the most with what you're serving, adapt our mission. Come on board with us. Get yourself a license. Come over here and let's show you how to adapt to our mission so you can get fulfillment when you sit across that kitchen table or you sit on that Zoom call with that parent that was, like the lady said, staying up every night, trying to figure out how they're going to get their kids to college, trying to figure out how they're going to pay off the debt, looking at things online, looking at commercials, trying to figure out how they're going to get some financial relief. What if you're the person to help them get that relief? Gives you a greater sense of fulfillment for what you do. And like we listened to earlier, you get a chance to grow your passion for what we do. Not everyone's passionate about financial services. Most people aren't. But what you can be passionate about is once you get good at impacting people's lives and changing people's lives, you can get passionate behind the fact that you continue to do those things and you can build on it and take this to wherever you want it to go. We're just a platform, y'all. We're just a platform to help you get to your goals and dreams. You can use our platform. We can help you brainstorm other platforms. But again, just know all those other things, you still got to put them in place. You still got to focus on your overhead and the demand and all the stuff to make it fit for you. Here, it's already done for you. It's already sewed up for less than the investment of getting a real estate license. So if that is you, feel free to that link right there, bit.ly/join United. That takes you to a page where you can put in your information and we can reach out to you. If any of you want to partner or just have a financial conversation with us, we're more than happy to have a financial conversation with you. We're more than happy to brainstorm some ideas. Again, whether it is our business, this business and financial services, which we know can do great things for you, or whether you just have some ideas about other businesses and other opportunities, let's jump on some calls. Let's have these conversations. If you're not having them with a financial professional, it's likely you're getting guided in a direction that maybe is not going to be best for you. So we want to be able to help with that. Babe, did you have anything else to sign off?
Nope. Just exactly that. If you guys, you really want to pursue what it is you're already doing now or another type of business, we are more than happy to coach you down that path and help you refine, that endeavor and get you to that place faster. But again, if you're trying to get to the higher level stuff, that's just going to get you to all of your hopes and dreams and be able to allow you to pursue those things much faster and with less energy and time and money, then we're absolutely happy to go down that path with you guys too. The main point is to just spread the mission, spread the word that we're here to help people. What we do is a huge necessity. We really haven't gone into the sadness of what's happening right now in America with our elderly being completely forgotten about, people not being able to retire. You got 85-year-olds working at gas stations and grocery stores and Costco. It's absolutely ridiculous. We haven't even gotten into any of that part, but that is the reason we're looking for people. That is the reason we're looking for people who are already entrepreneurial so they could just jump in, get this business in a box, and then, we can get them out there to go reach more people because we got to change this broken cycle through these things that we do.
That's right. That's right. I see that note, Annette. We're glad that you're in. We're ready to rock and roll with you in 2025. Glad you're there. For anybody else, again, that needs more information, let's jump on a call. Let's have another conversation. If this is stuff that intrigued you, let's, again, reach out to us. We'll be able to reach out to you if you registered here on the Zoom so that we can keep this conversation rolling and really be able to spread our message and have a great 2025, y'all. So
thank you guys again for your time, for being on this with us. We are so appreciative of that. We don't take that lightly. We're very grateful for your time with us tonight.
We appreciate your time and attention. And until next time, we're going to sign off. We'll let you go with this last video. And then if you have any other questions, feel free to reach out. Take care.
Welcome to United Agency.
To United Agency.
To United Agency.
To United Agency.
Welcome to United Agency.
Welcome to United Agency, a place where people can come in and build a life, a future, a vision for their family, a legacy. That's really what we represent here, is helping people build a legacy for their family, generational wealth, generational entrepreneur mindset.
In all honesty, this is about three things: helping families, building people, and a better life. That 5-year plan of making sure that you know exactly what it is you want to make happen, exactly what the plan is. Don't think so much about the how, just understand this is the vision.
Once we understand, and every leader kind of touched on this, is just understanding the time is now. With this time of the business, many people have been here 20, 30, 40 years. Like here at United Agency, we're going to be able to take off and do great things for the next decades to come.
There was a comp plan where when I bet on myself, I really won and made that money that I knew I deserved versus somebody putting a stipulation over my head.
What I did take away is just making sure that you're right for everybody else in your family. You just have to make sure you're right to make sure everybody else is right. And that was the biggest takeaway for sure.
Some of the benefits of being here is seeing what you can do to help grow your business, as well as what you can do to understand the business you're trying to grow.
The benefits of attending this event is learning from people that have made it and getting to shake hands with them, getting to know them. So sharing with us their strategy of reaching out to others. And with that being said, welcome to United Agency! Welcome.